The Wapping dispute, as it's called, was all about the dismissal of 5,500 workers by Rupert Murdoch at News International, which was the company that owned the Times, the Sunday Times, the Sun and the News of the World. And it was a giant conspiracy, basically, to get rid of the organised workforce and replace them with a non-union, malleable, pliable workforce. And there was a massive dispute, a very bloody dispute that lasted over 12 months, from 1986 to 87. And none of the workers were reinstated, ever. And to this day, the company does not recognise trade unions, including the NUJ. The archive is all about how the dispute came about, the origins, what it was really all about, as opposed to what the journalists, academics and management supporters have always said, that it was about new technology. It certainly wasn't. It was all about control. And Murdoch was determined to get rid of the unionised workforce. So the archive is as much an explanation of how the dispute came about, in order to explain why it was that the workers went on strike, as well as describing the actual dispute itself. One of the images that is very striking here is an enlarged picture of one of the demonstrations, because once the dispute had started, regular demonstrations were held at Wapping, from Tower Hill to the Wapping site, and even though the distance was probably less than half a mile, it usually used to take us 3 hours on a Wednesday night and a Saturday night to travel very slowly from Tower Hill to Wapping. But there were some daytime demonstrations as well, and this is one of them, and it's quite a magnificent depiction. And as well, for a while there was a publicity campaign during the dispute, and this is one of the posters. A little girl making the statement, "My dad helped Mr. Murdoch make millions, now he wants to put him on the dole, don't let him." We decided that there should be a commemoration of the 25th anniversary of the dispute. And so the Marx Memorial Library, with Unite the Union, the NUJ and the Campaign for Press and Broadcasting Freedom, we jointly organised an exhibition which travelled around the country and is still available. And then subsequently we created an archive, because we had, between all of us, we had accumulated so much material, photographs, posters, leaflets, newspapers, banners and so on. We then created the archive, fully supported by the Marx Memorial Library. It was launched on May Day in 2011. Subsequently, we created a website. There is now 3 films available, but the latest one that has been produced, called The Worker's Story, is the one based entirely on the workers' own views of the dispute. And it carries on the tradition that was established during the exhibition and the website, that it's essential to have the workers' view of what the dispute was about, how the dispute was carried out, and what the effects were subsequently. And we all said at the time that any company that can conspire in the way that Murdoch's News International did to get rid of 5,500 workers in one go, bearing in mind that they were dismissed within 20 minutes of the strike starting, that company would be capable of doing anything. And of course, 25 years later, the whole phone hacking scandal was unearthed, and Murdoch's activities exposed.
And trying to influence the result of the American election.
Correct, yes, to this day.